One of my biggest challenges and weaknesses as of yet is not staying consistent and or following through with my decisions. I get super impulsive and feel passionate about pursuing a project, and then halfway through I give up. I either lose interest or give excuses of why it's not the right time, or I don't want to do the work anymore. It's been a constant battle for me. I continuously revert back to my old ways and seem to get stuck in a hamster wheel of victim storytelling. Currently, I'm feeling lethargic, loss of energy, sleeping too much or not sleeping at all sometimes. Meditation, journaling, prospects of appreciation seem more of a hard chore than a tool that can support me. How can I break this cycle? So, we chose this one even though it's a bit repetitious of what we were talking about in the previous segment. But we want you to feel your way through this, you who've written this and you who are listening in. I get super impulsive and feel passionate, and then halfway through I give up. Now, why would that be? Why would momentum subside? Contradictory energy. So, it really is as simple. The answer to all of this dilemma really is as simple as looking sometimes toward what you want and sometimes toward the absence of it. That's all. It really is as simple as this. All of this trouble and all of this justifying and all of this explanation, all of it is about one simple thing. Looking back and forth at wanted and unwanted, wanted and unwanted. Now, is that a bad thing? No, not at all. In fact, it's a calibrating thing. In fact, it's a normal thing in your physical experience. So, what is the emotion that is beneath all of this, that is causing this to be such a chronic or consistent? In other words, what's the underlying emotion that all of this is pointing to? I'm not good at that. What's that emotion? Unworthiness? Incapability? What's an emotion that perpetuates that? Fear of criticism or ridicule from others, fear of getting it wrong, fear of not measuring up. That's what it is for you here. In other words, you've had harsh critics from an early age looking on, and so you came to a rather early conclusion in your experience that you don't measure up. But it's not the conclusion that we're wanting to get to the bottom of. It's the emotion. And the emotion is one of fear. And in this case, more specifically, fear of not measuring up. So, I continuously revert back to my old ways and seem to get stuck in a hamster wheel of victim storytelling. So, what's the emotion underlying that? A victim. What is that? What is the emotion? Not the details. We don't want to get underneath the details. We don't want to hear about who victimized you or any of that. We just want to get to the basis, the emotion of victim. What underlies the emotion of victimhood? When you feel like a victim, what's the emotion that describes that? Fear is one. Despair is one. Lack of freedom is one. Weakness. I feel not strong. I feel weak. I feel weak and therefore taken advantage of. You see, it doesn't matter where it started. So getting to the bottom of how that happened doesn't matter. But acknowledging where you are starting from right now does matter. So, your words say to us that you feel weak. You say lethargic, loss of energy, sleeping too much. Sit with that for just a little bit. You feel weak. You feel loss of energy. You feel like a victim, not strong. So again, doesn't matter how you got there. It only matters that you feel that. So now, can you find an emotion that is less uncomfortable from that? And can you focus on it until you feel some lessening of weakness? Can you have a conversation with yourself that stimulates different emotions than this conversation stimulated? Can you stimulate a different emotion? Can you stimulate a different point of attraction? Can you hear the difference? Rather than defending why you feel the way you do, rather than defending why your point of attraction is what it is, instead, say words that produce a different emotional response, which indicates a different point of attraction. You could get general about it. You could say, I do not believe that the law of attraction assigns victims. I think the law of attraction finds those who feel like victims. That's a good start. And you could say, and why I have, for unnecessary to discuss now, reasons felt like a victim, and am doing it even now as I'm regurgitating these statements. I really don't want to be a victim, and I really do not believe that I am. I could be a victim of other people misunderstanding, but I've decided to leave them out of the equation. And I could be a victim of my own sloppy thinking, but I've decided to sharpen my thoughts. So, if I create my own reality and I am a victim, then what am I a victim of? Am I not a victim of my own thought? Which sort of leads me back to my question, my weakness. I don't want to be that victim of my own thought. Can you feel yourself making some decisions in that? I have the ability to think thoughts that are not thoughts of being a victim. I certainly am not always a victim. I'm certainly hardly ever a victim. I'm a creator. I'm a chooser of thought. I can choose thought. I can choose thought, and I can focus. In fact, we want to say to you that it is only because of your ability to focus on something that is pretty much the same thing that you could ever bring yourself to this place of what feels like paralyzation to you. There is a way out of this, you could say to yourself. I am figuring this out. I'm getting a handle on this. I understand that there is a fair play going on here. Doesn't matter how I came to think this way. I'm understanding what thinking like this perpetuates, and I can make a decision to think differently. I don't have to think everything differently, just some things differently. There are some thoughts that I think that I don't feel like a victim at all. In fact, I'm starting to wonder why I even said some of the things that I just said, because I'm feeling less like that now. It actually feels a little, not only unnecessary, but maybe even a little silly to me that that's the direction I got focused. I think I was playing to an audience that I believed was looking at me with skepticism or disapproval, and then I've been explaining to them what's going on. But I can't get to where I want to be. That's not the crowd I want to play to. I don't want to defend myself or justify or rationalize anything. That's not going to get me to where I want to be. I want to speak to my inner being crowd, to my Abraham crowd, to the source energy crowd. And I would like to say, I'm getting a handle on this. I'm understanding more that I, too, can do this.